Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you are. Welcome to Winterstock, our week-long thrilling armchair spectacle co-hosted by Lenovo, NVIDIA, and Intel that bravely explores Lenovo's concept from exascale to every scale. My name is Carolyn, and I am your host today at Lenovo's Executive Briefing Center. We will soon be exploring the topic of artificial intelligence for Industry 4.0, AI-assisted quality control in manufacturing. So Robert Daigle, Marcin Rojek, and Mariusz Kolanko will be your presenters today. They will introduce themselves in a minute. The first 20 minutes or so of today's webinar will be the formal presentation, with the last 10 minutes or so reserved for questions and answers. So if you have a question along the way, please make sure to put them in the questions tab and we will answer them at the end of the session. We will be recording this, and the recording will be made available in the next 48 hours for replay. Okay, Robert, would you like to kick off the presentation with a few introductions?
Sure. Thanks so much, Carolyn. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this session on AI. Specifically, we're going to be talking about industrial use cases in Industry 4.0. Even more specifically, we're going to take you into a few examples of how we've implemented AI solutions in manufacturing to do quality defect detection. We actually have found that manufacturing is one of the leading industries primed for AI adoption. And one of the top use cases for that, there's two top use cases. One is actually doing quality defect detection, and the other is doing predictive maintenance. So we're going to take you into the quality inspection use case, and Marcin is going to introduce this concept, and then also share with you one of the real life case studies that we've worked on together with byteLAKE. Marcin?
Yeah, thank you, Robert and Caroline. So I'm Marcin Rojek, and together with me on the call today is Mariusz Kolanko. We're both co-founders of byteLAKE, company that specializes in building products powered by AI, and we're very happy to present some of the solutions that we offer to the market already now. Today with Lenovo, a partner with whom we've been working for many years in delivering similar solutions across industries. So byteLAKE's cognitive services is AI for Industry 4.0. It consists of a couple of models or a couple of modules within it. In other words, byteLAKE's cognitive services is a collection of trained artificial intelligence models designed specifically for two areas, as Robert briefly mentioned. First group is for AI-assisted quality inspection. So think of intelligent cameras attached above production lines and detecting issues in the production line, in the production processes, detecting defects in products, counting products, and so on and so forth. And then we have big data analytics. So think of solutions like analytics of your IoT sensors data, time series data analytics for predictive maintenance, or finding answers hidden in the data. And all of these two are complemented by other products about which some of which we talked during yesterday's presentation. One of them is Cognitive CFD Suite, which is AI accelerated computational fluid dynamics, and Brainello, which is for documents processing. And all of these four converge into a cognitive services where you can automate processes in manufacturing or across Industry 4.0 in many verticals from end to end. Going into details about cognitive services, it's based on our years of experience in cognitive automation, where we worked with complex or repetitive task automation. So things like extracting information from documents, scans, emails, or basically whatever communication you might have in your company based on text. Industry 4.0 automation, as I said, it's mainly about cameras that can detect in real life visual scenarios, some scenes, some, whatever happened in your production processes, but it's also about analyzing data from different sensors and finding answers about processes like what can I do with certain parameters, how can I tweak devices to make them more power efficient. is there anything that is building up into a trend within my data? Can I predict future behaviors? Can I somehow advise my staff about better decisions based on historic data, and so on and so forth? And all of this come down to enabling data-driven proactive operations throughout units within your company. And all of these solutions we designed and wrapped up into cognitive services offering, and all of them have the ability to self-improve over time. So we are aware that the realities around us are constantly changing, and we produce new data. The processes might get updated, and designed modules, our design modules are also specifically designed to be able to react to those changes along the way. Moving forward, let's focus for first case in the AI-assisted visual inspection area, and something that we will also explain about real-life development in a paper mill. Here you can see on the right-hand side a typical intelligent camera, which is powered by AI modules from cognitive services, and the models have been trained so that they can analyze whatever is happening on the conveyor belt, and like in this case, count boxes and detect some defects. And on the left-hand side, you see how the inferencing or the execution of the model really works. So the model is grabbing the frames from the camera, is analyzing it based on the trained model, which is also deployed close to the camera, usually on small processing unit like a small PC, and then produces some text data about number of defects detected. It can also count the distance between boxes, or count how far boxes are for certain critical areas. And all of this data then is sent to manufacturing software or for some management software for further analytics. Typical use cases we've been working on, and for which cognitive services have been trained, are about, first of all, quality monitoring automation. So again, visual inspection of products, but also processes. And Mariusz will talk in a second about how we analyze processes, actually production processes in paper mills with same cameras. You can count objects, so you can get some information about quantities. Objects recognition is another one. We've been also working on training those models for hospitality industry, where we detect types of food for automated self-service, but also in manufacturing, when you need to qualify or certify different parts for manufacturing elements, and with intelligent cameras you can very well automate the whole process. Something that sticks out from those typical use cases is related to 3D data analytics, and that's mainly about using the visual data to steer the movements of the robotic arms. So that is also very much closely connected to self-driving robots in warehouses. And here you can see a typical example, and at the same time the case study we did together for some of the paper mills with actual deployments. And Mariusz, why don't you tell a few words right here?
Yeah, thank you, Marcin. So let me show you and present you one of our products. This is called Wetline Detector. Wetline Detector is a solution that is deployed on edge device, and it's power of ours, so it means byteLAKE's cognitive services. In this particular example, our edge device, it's a Lenovo ThinkCenter, where all calculations are done. The whole process is about to detect, as you can see on the left of the slide, this is the production table where the paper is produced. And in the middle of this production table, you can see something like a glossy area. And this is exactly what we are going to detect. But not only. Also, what we need to do is measure where this concrete wet line is positioned. It's very important to measure this line, say how width it is and how far from the beginning of the table. And this all this calculation is done exactly in this Lenovo Think Center powered by byteLAKE's cognitive services. Very important other thing also is, and ready to mention here, is many possibilities of connection to client's existing environment. In this particular example, it's done by database, but it's not only one solution. We have really many possibilities to connect it to the existing environment of clients. And on the right, you can see that this is the environment that is in clients, and in client's environment we can visualize it, where the concrete line is positioned, what is the width of this line, and when the line, this wet line, goes too far from the beginning, we can trigger an alarm. And this is exactly what this system is all about, to monitor the wet line 24 hours per 7 day in a week. So this is the solution. On another slide, I would like to highlight this solution is end-to-end product ready to install. So we have already the edge device. In this particular example, this is Lenovo Think Center. We have camera to install. So all the solution can be installed by byteLAKE on in any we can say paper industry, but not only in a paper industry and paper mills, because our cognitive services we can train to another problems, and we can deploy it to any factory that we can do it in any factory. So what to highlight here? So this is the edge components. So no need to buy the servers, because we can work with so small components like Lenovo Tiny. We have data ingestion. It's all about now from the camera using our cognitive services. But of course, we can also use the cloud. So it's not that we are close only to edge device, but if infrastructure is important to put our solution in cloud, we can also do it. On another slide, Marcin will talk a little bit more details about how to put our solution in the real life.
Cognitive services, as I said, it's about AI visual inspection, so intelligent cameras. And one such example and real life deployment is for paper mills, the solution that Mariusz described, but it's also about big data analytics. So in every factory, usually have tons of data. And based on that, you can deploy, and using the data, you can deploy also cognitive services to get answers for critical questions. And some of those, based on past experiences, are about improving client experience, so analyzing past interactions, behaviors to enable basically personalized decisions. Typical example is, I want to analyze the orders from my clients and prepare a list with suggestions if I want to offer some replacement parts, for instance, or if I want to analyze and combine all of my competitors' offering and then use AI to somehow map the competitive offerings to my offerings and also make suggestions for my teams. Predict outcomes and trends, it's a pre-standard use case where you can detect suspicious behaviors, patterns, trends, anomalies, and so on. And some of those examples are from the agriculture industry, where we worked with a client who had a device analyzing seeds, and then based on different parameters, we're using AI to predict how good or what quality of the seeds could potentially be, meaning how likely it would be that they transform into a plant. And then find optimal solutions, as mentioned earlier, to analyze IoT sensors data and find dependencies between different parameters and answer questions like what we can do to make devices more power efficient, or maybe to find optimal configurations, and eventually all of this leading us to better decisions, so recommendations based on historic data. And some of those examples we had were about analyzing historical sales and bidding data to suggest sales team pricing, suggest strategies, and so on and so forth. So if you have data in your company, and I'm sure you do have, chances are we can help you make a better use of that data with just those 4 basic examples, but we're also very happy to help you explore what else we can do with the data. And moving forward real quick, the deployment of that part of cognitive solutions comes down to training the model based on your data. So it's really an expert system designed specifically to your environment. And what is a differentiator here in the market is that our solutions are based to follow the trends and follow the changes as your company grows. So basically, we can retrain the model, we can take new data into account, and the model can, recurrently improve itself so that it continues to grow as your company grows. So one aspect that somehow popped up along the way of this presentation is that there's always, especially for AI-assisted visual inspection, an edge component, which basically means that the algorithms are not deployed in a standard fashion, like somewhere out there in the cloud or somewhere out there on a remote server. Although it can be that way, in many cases we want to minimize the amount of data that is transferred along the way through infrastructure. We want real-time responsiveness, and in that way we install edge components like Lenovo Tiny or Lenovo Edge servers, which greatly support those workloads directly where the data is produced. And with byteLAKE services, we are able to, and we have already optimized cognitive services for leading processor types and accelerator cards, so that we really make the most of the hardware. And some of the benefits of having the solution at the edge is it easily scales up, so you can add more intelligent cameras, and you don't really need to install complicated infrastructure just to get started with it. You get real-time AI experience. You don't need to send around the data, even if you have problems with your connectivity, or there's a lack of connectivity, or you don't have enough bandwidth, and the data stays locally. So we basically process the data on the spot and send out the text information. So imagine, like in the paper mill solution, the camera on the spot analyzes the images taken in real time, and then it just sends the information to the server over your network, like yes or no, there is a wet line, there is no wet line. And if there is a wet line, it sends coordinates or the width of the wet line and basically the measurements. And quickly, how to get started with cognitive services. So first of all, you need to describe the scenario you'd like to automate. Typical candidates are areas you want to optimize in a way that you feel that the decision-making process is not optimal or would need some improvements, something that takes too long, is complicated. You want to, or you just want to find the answers, perhaps potentially hidden in your data, or like in the case of the paper mill solution, you just want to offload people from task which is like looking into camera like 24/7, and then you just want to automate the whole process. The second thing is a consultancy session, which is really straightforward. We just need to understand accepted accuracy, basically what your goals are, and where the solution should be integrated. So what's the input, what's the output, what are the formats, and byteLAKE together with partners like Lenovo can guide you throughout the whole process. So we can analyze your data, investigate them, tell you where the gaps are, tell you how you can collect more data, what hardware you might need. We can come up with lots of suggestions here. We really have a lot of experience in all of these areas across many verticals. So we can guide you through that and efficiently tell you what would be the suggested next step. And really the magic here where it happens is about that we are like the umbrella. We can remove the whole complexity of delivering complete solution across manufacturing. So we start with, first of all, helping you find the solution, and that comes down to building a couple of demos or proof of concepts, or quick demos proving that the idea makes sense. We help you along the way with data collection, data cleaning, data labeling, everything around data. So basically finding gaps. We have on our combined teams with partners, we have teams that are able to store the data, that are able to manage the data properly, suggest hardware components along the way, and then we move to AI training, retraining, deployment. And the magic here is that the cognitive services are ready-made products. So all we need is your data to start with and to train it or to calibrate it for your use cases, unless you come from paper mill. So we have a completely 100% ready solution from day zero for you. For some other cases, we might need some small calibration, which is ultimately much shorter time than building solution from scratch. It's a ready component. We just tweak it and then deploy it in your environment across different infrastructures, and off you go. Your manufacturing quality control and analytics is ready. And all of this, as you can see, is supported by hardware, and Lenovo has here a lot to offer, not only from hardware perspective, but excellence around the world, right? So Robert, you can fill in here.
Yes, thanks so much, Marcin. That was a great overview of how AI can be used in a manufacturing setting. It's a great real world use case, and it's a real challenge that we hear about every day. Quality defect detection is a challenge that every company that manufactures physical goods faces, and AI poses to really provide some real value there. When you think about the ways that defect detection is done now, and being able to use an AI system that is consistent, that it doesn't make human errors, we think it's a great use of AI technology. Now, the way we work at Lenovo in artificial intelligence, you may think of us as a company that makes great laptops, and maybe even a company that makes great data center infrastructure, but infrastructure is just one part of what we do. We also have AI Center of Excellence, where we work on customer projects. So exactly like the use case that Marcin shared earlier with the defect detection use case, that's the type of projects we work in our AI innovation centers, and we partner with companies like byteLAKE. We've done a lot of great work with byteLAKE through our AI innovation centers. We have a strong partner ecosystem. byteLAKE is one of our leading partners in delivering AI capabilities in our partner ecosystem, and we've developed that through validating solutions and partners in our innovation centers. And lastly, we're working with these partners to build out solutions, reference architectures, and things that are easier to consume for customers and also for our business partners. And you can go to the next slide, Marcin. So I mentioned the AI innovation centers. We have 4 around the world. One is based here in Morrisville, where I'm located. We have another one in Stuttgart, Germany, another in Beijing, and another in Taipei. We work on a number of different things in the Innovation Center, from proof of concepts. We do AI workshops. We validate new ISV partners and new service partners. And we also do benchmarking to ensure you get the best performance out of your AI systems. We have data scientists, AI architects, engineers on staff from Lenovo that work in the AI innovation centers, and we also bring in partners to fill in where we don't have the skill sets. We have partner ecosystem that can fill in those skills. You can click to the next chart, and finally, in closing, I just want to share with you, we do have infrastructure at Lenovo. We've got a lot of great solutions. Whether you're looking for hardware to get started at your desktop to do small model development, either on a mobile workstation or data science workstation, We have a lot of great solutions for doing scale out training if you want to train large models. We have a lot of great products for that, our LECO platform and also our SR670 servers. And then for inferencing, we really have a vast portfolio from edge gateways out of our devices division. You know, IoT gateways that are fanless, ruggedized, all the way up to edge servers like our SE350 that can be mounted on a wall or a ceiling, and you get enterprise grade CPU and GPU outside of a traditional data center. And then of course our rack servers, 1U and 2U rack servers, and our GPU rich servers. So really a great portfolio on hardware as well, but we want to make sure that you understood what we can bring to help you solve your AI challenges and solve your business challenges with AI that go far beyond just hardware infrastructure. I hope this gives you a good understanding of how AI can be used in manufacturing to do defect detection and what offerings are available from Lenovo and byteLAKE. Thank you so much.